Good afternoon and welcome to your University of Toledo College of Engineering's 2016 Fall Commencement. Our processional into the arena will be led by the Grand Marshal, the University President, the Provost, members of the University of Toledo Board of Trustees, and University and College administrators. We will begin our ceremony with the presentation of the flag of the United States. This will be led by the Pershing Rifles Color Guard of our University of Toledo Army ROTC. The presentation of the flag will be followed by the processional.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Courtney Greer. I'm a computer science and engineering major and a member of both the University of Toledo Engineering Council and the National Society of Black Engineers. Welcome to the Fall 2016 Engineering Commencement. Please stand and join me in opening our ceremonies by singing the national anthem, which will be led by Lori Lefevre.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Dear graduates, I would first like to start off by confirming one fact for you, that you are not dreaming. After your 4 or more years of struggle, you are actually sitting here in this coveted cap and gown, ready to receive your diploma. Webster defines a diploma as a document given by an educational institution conferring a degree on a person or certifying that the person has satisfactorily completed a course of study. However, I do get the feeling that maybe it's missing a few things. So today, I'll get started by talking off what Webster's definition doesn't include. And I think we can all agree to start that includes Calc 2. Nowhere on the diploma will it note the amount of energy drinks, coffees, and pizza that you once digested at record-breaking speeds during the nightmare that we call finals week, or the number of days where you had to take up an uncomfortable residency in the dual-screen computer labs of Nitschke Hall and North Engineering. The diploma will not include a star for all of the peers you've inspired and assisted during your time here at the University of Toledo. Whether it's explaining an entire statics chapter the day before the exam, or reminding me for about the 100th time that yes, Courtney, the homework is definitely due today. Engineering is a community. We learn together, we work together, and we strive together. The diploma will not hint or nudge at where any of you might be headed. For some, it may be developing new technologies for the automobile industry, or it may be developing medical instrumentation to save lives. For others, it may be generating power to remote regions around the world, or educating the next generation of engineers. Your diploma tells a story where you have been and begins a story of where you will go. With your UT engineering diploma, your opportunities are endless. Before you begin in your new walk of life, pause and take the time to thank the individuals who have helped you get to this moment. Thank your parents, your grandparents, guardians, loved ones, professors, mentors, advisors, and your friends who you stayed up with for all hours, let you borrow their notes or their pencils that you probably have never returned. On behalf of the College of Engineering, the University of Toledo Engineering Council, and those who have supported you throughout the journey, I wish you much success. Congratulations, class of 2016. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dean Nagi Naganathan. Dean Naganathan has been instrumental to the success of every graduate sitting here today. For my past years of knowing Dean Nagy, his dedication to his students amazes me. In fact, his endless faith in me is the reason I am probably up here right now today. Dean Naganathan has been here to support us through every walk in our educational experience. So for now, the Dean of College Engineering, Dean Nagi Naganathan.
Thank you, Courtney. Good evening. Come on now, with more than 2,000 people, this has to be a lot better. Good evening. So much better. Members of the graduating class, trustees, President Gaber, Provost Shu, faculty, staff, alumni, distinguished guests, parents, and friends. Good evening to you. Welcome to our College of Engineering Fall 2016 commencement. We are delighted to have so many families and friends join us today to celebrate the accomplishments of these young men and women who have worked so diligently to earn their undergraduate and graduate degrees. To all of our degree candidates, on behalf of the College of Engineering faculty, staff, and current students, I extend our sincere congratulations on the completion of your degree. The degree that you are earning today is the culmination of your hard work, sacrifice, and dedication to your studies. So graduates, we are very proud of you. It's now my distinct pleasure to recognize several distinguished individuals who have joined us to celebrate the graduation. I would like to begin with those members of our Board of Trustees who are able to be with us today. Two of our trustees have joined us. I invite them to stand and be recognized as I call their names. Please hold your applause until both of them have been introduced. First, I would like to go to Trustee Jeffrey Cole. Trustee Cole is also Senior Director of Corporate Communications for Dana, Inc. Next is Trustee Mary Ellen Pisanelli. Trustee Pisanelli is partnered with Shoemaker, Loop, and Kendrick LLP. Please join me in thanking them for being here today. Also at this time, I would like to recognize several other members of the platform party. I request them to stand as I call their names. Please hold your applause until all of them have been recognized. Let me begin with members of the university administration as well as guests from the community. First, Dr. Sharon Gaber, President of the University of Toledo. Dr. Christina Johnson, our keynote speaker today. Dr. Andrew Shu, Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs. Dr. Amanda Bryan Friedrich, Dean of the College of Graduate Studies. Dr. Sammy Span, Assistant Provost of International Studies and Programs. Dr. Dorothea Savicki, Vice Provost for Health Science Affairs and University Accreditation. We have Ms. Lori Adams, President of the Engineering Alumni Affiliate and a Principal of DGL Consulting Engineers. Mr. Dave Dimitrica, Alumni Affiliate member as well as President of Dimitrica Jacobs Engineers. Thank you all for joining us today. Please be seated. Finally, from the College of Engineering, we have Dr. Stephen LeBlanc, Executive Associate Dean of Fiscal Affairs, Dr. Brian Randolph, Executive Associate Dean of Academic Affairs, Dr. Mohammed Samir Hafzi, Associate Dean of Engineering Graduate Studies and Research Administration, Dr. Scott Molitor, Associate Dean of Engineering Undergraduate Studies, Dr. Nick Kisoff, Assessment Director and Associate Professor of Engineering Technology, Professor Richard Springman, Associate Chair, Engineering Technology, Ms. Courtney Greer, Senior Majoring in Computer Science and Engineering, who welcomed all of us today, Ms. Patricia Mowry, Director of Administrative Operations, College of Engineering, and our department chairs, Dr. Arun Nataraja of Bioengineering, Dr. Glenn Lipscomb of Chemical Engineering, Dr. Ashok Kumar of Civil Engineering, Dr. Mansoor Alam of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science, Professor Linda Beal of Engineering Technology, and Dr. Abdi Afshay of Mechanical, Industrial, and Manufacturing Engineering. Please join me in thanking them for all they do for our college and our students. Please be seated. Our rising status as a flagship engineering college is reflected in the caliber of our student body. Many of them came here and they are graduating today. Please allow me to share some statistics about our student quality. Nearly 40% of all valedictorians attending the University of Toledo are enrolled in the College of Engineering. Over 35% of all UT's honor students are in the College of Engineering. The average ACT scores of entering freshmen this fall was in the 85th to 90th percentile in the nation. And the average high school GPA was 3.76. And more than 85% of all students that started as freshmen last year stayed on as sophomores at UT this fall, a strong achievement in an open access public university. We are proud of the fact we are among a select group of schools recognized as best of co-op for our mandatory co-op program, one of only 8 such engineering programs in the nation. And over the last 17 years, we have placed our students in nearly 18,000 cooperative experience opportunities in 44 states and 37 countries. And the success we have achieved as a college would not be possible without the dedication of our faculty and staff, the mentors, the teachers, and advisors, whose work has enabled the accomplishment of the milestone we celebrate today. Will all faculty and staff members who are with us today, including those on the platform, please rise and be recognized. It is now my pleasure to welcome to the podium our President, Dr. Sharon Gaber, for her remarks. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Sharon Gaber.
Good evening. Dean Nagi Naganathan, trustees, faculty and staff, parents, family members, friends, and other guests. To all of our engineering graduates, congratulations. After all of the classwork, the late night studying, the tests and special projects, the pizza, lots and lots of pizza, you've accomplished what you set out to do. You've earned your undergraduate or advanced degree in engineering. And that's not surprising. You see, engineers have the unique skill set to see a problem, make plans, set goals, and accomplish them. It's what they do. Graduates, you have a bright future ahead of you. I know this based solely on the degree you've chosen. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor, the need for engineers is expected to grow by as much as 10% over the next decade. That's because governments and industry continue to work on meeting the challenges of a growing global population, while at the same time, limited resources are dwindling. So with today's increasing demand for new technology, products, and materials, you can be sure your engineering degree is the beginning of a very bright and worthwhile career. You not only have the passion to make a difference in the world, you also have the technical know-how to make it happen. So, graduates, rest assured the education you received here at UT has prepared you well to make a difference. And know that our engineering faculty will count your success as their success. In fact, all of us here at UT are very proud of you. Finally, I know among those who are most proud tonight is Dr. Nagi, who joined UT faculty in 1986. As most of you know, Dr. Nagi has accepted the role of president at the Oregon Institute of Technology, and so he will be leaving us. He's served numerous roles here at UT, including as founding chair of mechanical and industrial engineering, dean of the college since 2003, and he was the university's interim president from 2014 to 2015. I want to publicly thank Dr. Nagy tonight for his incredible contributions, which include raising more than $16 million in philanthropic support over the years for the College of Engineering. Please join me in a round of applause for Dr. Nagy. As we bid him farewell, we also encourage each of our new graduates to carve out their own place in the world. Again, my congratulations and best wishes. Thank you, and go Rockets.
Thank you, President Gaber. It's now my pleasure to recognize a few select degree candidates for our undergraduate awards. There are 5 different awards. Each of these awards includes a certificate or plaque and a monetary gift. More importantly, the check is not in the mail. When I call the names, I invite the student awardees to join me at the podium to accept their awards. The first of the awards is the Senior Scholar Award. The honor goes to the individual in the graduating class with the highest cumulative GPA. Now, as President mentioned, I've had the privilege of leading the graduation ceremonies for our college for more than 15 years. For the very first time, we have a 5-way tie. This has never happened before. We have 5 senior scholars with a perfect 4.0. So I invite all 5 awardees to come forward at this time to my right. So if those 5 awardees could come to my right, please. I will now recognize each of the awardees. Our first senior scholar is Luke Batty. Luke is graduating with a degree in mechanical engineering. He has been an active member of Tau Beta Pi Engineering Honors Fraternity and served several co-op terms with Honda and Crane Aerospace. Congratulations, Luke. Our next senior scholar is Jenny Collier. Jenny is pursuing a dual major in civil and environmental engineering, along with a minor in renewable energy. She has been involved in many groups on campus during her time at UT and plans to go to graduate school and earn a master's degree in environmental engineering. Jenny, congratulations. Our next senior scholar is Ryan Kramer. Ryan is earning a degree in chemical engineering with minors in business and chemistry. He has been involved in the American Institute of Chemical Engineers as well as the Omega Chi Epsilon Honors Fraternity. He also conducted Alzheimer's research as a student working with Dr. Kim. Ryan, congratulations. Our next senior scholar is Clayton Rice. Clay is a chemical engineering and biochemistry double major with a music minor. He has been a member of the Chemical Engineering Honors Fraternity and Engineers Without Borders. His aspiration is to do medical mission work in Africa as a physician. Clay, congratulations. Our fifth senior scholar is Alexa Spoody. Alexa is a chemical engineering major with minors in chemistry and business. Alexa did not just excel academically, she was quite active as a student, participating in the UT Engineering Council Omega Chi Epsilon Chemical Engineering Honor Society, and was often the first student to volunteer in countless ways with many organizations. So Alexa, congratulations. I forgot to tell the awardees they have a tough assignment. They have to make me look good in a photograph. So please join me in another round of applause for our 5 senior scholars. Next, we have the Outstanding Student Leader Award, recognizing service and leadership in a college organization. Again, invite Jennifer Collier to join me. Jenny may be a quiet leader, but I can assure you that her impact has always been quite resounding and audible. So in addition to achieving a perfect 4.0 GPA while earning a double major and a minor, she served as an officer of the student chapter of ASCE and the Chi Epsilon fraternity. She was also a key member of the Student Green Fund on our campus. Congratulations, Jenny. Our next award is Outstanding Senior for College Contributions and Recognition of Service, Leadership, and Involvement in College Activities and Organizations. We have 2 awardees this year. I invite Waleed Abdul Salam and Paxton Pickrell to join me here. Waleed is a member of IEEE and was always a tireless leader when it came to tutoring and mentoring new engineering students so they can be very successful in college. He was also equally effective in reaching out to prospective students. He has served the college as a peer mentor in the Electrical Engineering and Computer Science Department. He is also an active member of the National Society of Black Engineers. Thanks for all your contributions, Waleed. And next is Paxton Pickrell. Paxton has actively contributed as the Corporate and Community Outreach Chair of the UT Engineering Council, or UTEC for short. In this role, he started several traditions, including introducing Toledo area children to engineering activities. He has also served as UTEC's president and student advisor. Under Paxton's leadership, UTEC was chosen as one of the best student councils of the year by the National Association of Engineering Student Council. Paxton, thanks for all you have given back to our college. Congratulations. Next, we have the award for the Outstanding Senior for Campus and Community Contributions in recognition of service, leadership, and involvement in campus and community activities as well as organizations. I invite Sean Reck to join me. Sean comes highly recommended for this award. Within the college, he was active in the UT American Institute of Chemical Engineers. As a secretary, he was a freshman interest group leader, and he has been active in the UT Engineering Council, the Omega Chi Epsilon Chemical Engineering Honors Fraternity, as well as the Tau Beta Pi Engineering Honors Society. He was also very active in campus-wide initiatives. Most notably, he was the director of Rockathon, and under his leadership, the event raised a record-breaking $150,000 for patients at the Mercy Children's Hospital. Sean, congratulations and for inspiring your peers to get involved. The last of the undergraduate awards is the Engineering Pride Award. The award is given to a student that exemplifies what it means to be a UT rocket. and who has helped the College of Engineering in fulfilling the university's mission to improve the human condition. I invite Alexa Spudi to join me. Alexa? Alexa is always willing to volunteer on campus and in the community. She is the first student to volunteer to host guests at the college or lead tours. She has served as a mentor for high school students in the Believe in Ohio event, and she has volunteered at various college recruitment events over the years. She served as the event coordinating chair for the UT Engineering Council, and in that role, she was instrumental in hosting the first UTEC-sponsored Engineering Leadership Summit. Alexa represents what it means to be a proud Toledo Rocket through her service to others. Thanks and congratulations, Alexa. I now request all of our student awardees to take their seats among their fellow degree candidates. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you this evening a dear friend and a great mentor, our keynote speaker, Dr. Christina Johnson. I cannot stop at saying it is my pleasure. It is truly an honor to introduce Dr. Johnson today. You can easily see from her bio that we have with us an extraordinarily credentialed engineering professional. Dr. Johnson is now the Chief Executive Officer of Cube Hydro Partners. She founded Cube Hydro Partners after her public service as the Undersecretary of Energy in the United States Department of Energy during 2009 and 10. Prior to her appointment as Undersecretary, Dr. Johnson was Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs at the Johns Hopkins University and Dean of the Pratt School of Engineering at Duke University. She started her academic career as a faculty at the University of Colorado. She received a doctorate in electrical engineering from Stanford University. She was named the NSF Presidential Young Investigator in 1985. She was a Fulbright faculty scholar in 1991, and she is a winner of so many awards, we won't have time to mention all of them today. But one of her prestigious awards is the John Fritz Medal. Now, I want you to know the previous recipients of the John Fritz Medal include such transformative geniuses as Alexander Graham Bell and Thomas Edison. Now, Dr. Johnson has been inducted to multiple halls of fame, is a fellow of several technical societies, and in 2016, she was elected as a member of the National Academy of Engineering, the highest honor an engineering professional can hope for. She has published nearly 150 papers, holds more than 100 United States and international patents. As an entrepreneur, Dr. Johnson has founded and co-founded several companies. One of her companies, we may not know the company name today, but we are very familiar with what they did and their innovation. The company was called Color Link Inc., which was sold to Real D, and it was her innovations that are responsible for many things we have enjoyed in such movies as Avatar and Gravity. And now Dr. Johnson also serves on the board of directors of several companies, including the Boston Scientific Corporation, AES Corporation, and Cisco Systems. I have had the pleasure of knowing Dr. Johnson for over 15 years, and one thing that has always touched me deeply about her is the outstanding human being she is. Despite all her professional accomplishments, she is defined by her humility and the sincerity and respect with which she treats everyone near her. She is truly one of the greatest leaders I have ever met, and I am proud to call her my friend and my mentor. So please join me in a warm Toledo Rocket welcome for our keynote speaker, Dr. Christina Johnson.
Well, thank you very much, Dean Nagy. And first of all, greetings, good evening, trustees, President Gaber, Provost Shu, Dean Nagy, our faculty, distinguished friends, family, and of course, our graduates of 2016. It's a pleasure to be here. And to state the obvious, graduates of the University of Toledo, you are well prepared to enter a world where you have to grapple with such difficult questions as, how long is she going to speak? But we were talking earlier, and one of your classmates gave me some advice. He will go unnamed, but Sean said I should keep it short, so I won't disappoint you. But as your commencement speaker, I am supposed to impart all kinds of really important life lessons, so I'll just start with the first one by the numbers. Life isn't fair, but it counts, and as engineering graduates, you understand that good things just don't happen. It takes hard work, it takes discipline, and above all, it takes persistence and unwavering commitment. So today I thought I'd talk about three of the most important kinds of commitment that I know. One is a commitment to optimism, the second one is commitment to kindness, and the third one is commitment to community. So let me begin with optimism. I am a very enthusiastic person by nature and an obnoxious optimist. So let me demonstrate why. When I went to Stanford as an undergraduate, most of the kids in my dorm were all Olympic athletes, or they had played Wimbledon. That was actually my roommate. And so I decided I wanted to play too. So I went out for the field hockey team, having never played before, but being optimistic, I just knew I could make the team. So in fact, I did, and I decided that that wasn't enough. Now I had to make the Olympic team. It was 1980. You may remember we didn't go in 1980, but no matter. But just a few months after graduation, I noticed the harder I trained, the less I was able to play. And during halftime at a match, one of my teammates, who was pre-med, noticed a lump on my neck. And later, the doctor diagnosed me with Hodgkin's disease, which is a cancer of the lymph system. Now, this was in the 1970s, and a little bit like us transitioning today from the University of Toledo into our future life, that was a transition for the treatment of Hodgkin's disease. And so the doctor said to me, you know, if things don't go well, you'll have just 2 years to live. But then he said, and he's saying this as I'm feeling a little claustrophobic, a little bit like the walls are closing in. He said, but you know, if we've caught it early enough, you have a good chance to live a normal life. And as soon as I heard there was a chance, I knew I was going to live. I just knew it. I would have been shocked if I hadn't. And as I recovered, I learned that being positive is a powerful tool. And like your diploma, it can crack any door, and when combined with persistence, and if you keep pushing, you can open any door you want to. And I realized later in life that, in fact, I really didn't have the talent to be an Olympic athlete, but the training to try and reach that dream helped me succeed in many other aspects of my personal and professional life. And you're graduating into a world where bad things can happen to good people, and when they do, and they will, I hope you'll commit to staying positive. And when you find yourself in dark moments, which you will, remember what Martin Luther King said, only when it is dark enough can we see the stars, so focus on the light. I think the second thing in terms of a commitment to kindness that I'd like to talk about really was illustrated to me when I was going through the cancer treatment. And as an adult, you will be tempted at times to put yourself first. Maybe you'll worry if you don't, you won't succeed either in your professional life or your personal life. You won't get ahead, people will take advantage of you. And at those moments, you'll have a choice to make. And I recall going to my first cancer treatment. I was 22, and I just graduated. And I put on a really brave face because as I walked into the waiting room, I saw a lot of people there that were a lot older than me and I think had a lot less of a chance of survival. And in particular, there were two elderly women. Of course, they're probably my age, but anyway, sisters who had been interned in Japan during World War II, and they were tough. And one of the sisters looked up at me and said, "So, is this your first time for your radiation treatment?" And I looked at her and I said, "Yes, how did you know?" And she looked at me and she said, "You looked scared." And I was crushed because truthfully, I was scared. I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't think I was showing it. But after a few weeks of the radiation everyday therapy, I had the drill down. I'd go to class in the morning, I'd go to the research lab in the afternoon. I was now a graduate student. I'd go take the radiation treatment and then go home and study. And once you get into a rhythm with anything, it's not so bad, right? One afternoon, a new person showed up in the waiting room, and I looked at her, and I said, "So, is this your first time?" And she looked back at me and she said, "How did you know?" And so without missing a beat, I could see the two women in the corner looking at me, so I just looked at them and I winked and I said, "Well, you weren't here yesterday. We all come at the same time. You showed up today. I figured this had to be your first time." And then I sat down, and I'm not sure why, but I just walked her through what would happen. And at the end of it, I said, "When you go in there, you'll be afraid. You might be a little scared, but just think of something nice." So then we sat down, and a few minutes later, her name was called. And I could see the fear, the same fear that I had felt. And as she walked towards the rad room, which is what we called it, she turned back to me and she said, "I'm going to think of you." And I learned by committing to kindness, maybe what the poet and writer Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you've said, they'll forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you make them feel. I had a choice that day to be kind, and I expected nothing in return. And this stranger gave me one of my sweetest memories. I always get choked up at graduations, but thank you. So today there's a lot of talk about political correctness, and I get it. No one wants to be called out for making an honest mistake or a misstep. But don't confuse political correctness with being polite, mannerly, and kind. It will do more for your career than any computer program or differential equation you've had the pleasure of solving. I'd just like to conclude, Sean, and that brings me to the third type of commitment, and it's a commitment to community. Because whether it's our state, our country, our planet, these are things we all share, and we're all responsible for them. The responsibility was at the heart of the work that I did in the Obama administration and what I try to do now as CEO of Cube Hydro. To live in the 21st century, we need energy. We can't change that fact. But today, the price we pay for energy is too high. And I'm not just talking about the number on our utility bill or at the gasoline pump. We pay a price in the pollutants that contribute to human health problems. 6.5 people die every year around the globe from air pollution, 1.5 million in China. We pay a price for greenhouse gases and climate change, which threaten our civilization and the extinction of living species. It also threatens our jobs and careers for you and your friends. You see, the last year, more than 50% of new electricity installed was renewable energy, and that's expected to grow to 70% by 2020. So I think about this future of our energy, our grid, as something about better health and better jobs, and as much as possible about cleaner air and water. The science leaves no doubt we cannot keep doing what we're doing. We do need to change, and that won't be easy. But I think we can all contribute, and so I'm going to ask you to do a couple things today before I conclude. The first thing is that 5% of the energy we use in this country is from washing clothes in hot water. So either wash your clothes in cold water or don't wash your clothes. Drive just 10 miles less per week. It'll have the effect of taking 10 million cars off the road. Eat one less hamburger a week, and we'll save 50 million tons of greenhouse gases. These are all the little steps, the little things we can do every day to preserve our environment for the next generations of University of Toledo graduates. So today I've tried to talk about optimism, kindness, and citizenship, and I think they're all essential ingredients for a life well lived. Let me just finish by saying a commitment to service, and this is really directed to my friend, Dean Nagy. I'd like to acknowledge Dean Nagy. You've worked quietly, not to be a success, but to succeed at what you're doing. And as a result, your legacy here at the University of Toledo happened because you were smart, hardworking, determined, and a fantastic role model for all of us. Thank you for your career of service to society through your dedication to educate the next generation. So today, as you prepare to leave this university you've called home, see what you have learned at the University of Toledo to make someone else's life better. If you do, you too will find success, you'll find opportunity, and you'll lead the kind of legacy your children and grandchildren can learn from. I'm honored to be here because more than anything, more than any new technology or policy, it's young engineers like you who give me hope for the future. It's you and all you're going to be, and wherever you are, as Courtney mentioned, be all there. Congratulations to the class of 2016. Go Rockets and beat Notre Dame.
Can come to my right. Thank you, Dr. Johnson, for those inspiring words through your personal journey, optimism, kindness, and citizenship. I think it's a simple yet powerful message. So on behalf of our graduating class, I want to thank you. Thank you for accepting my invitation to address our graduates today, and I am pleased to present you a token of our appreciation. I would now like to call upon Dr. Amanda Bryant Friedrich, Dean of the College of Graduate Studies, to present the doctoral degree candidates.
Good evening. There are 22 summer and fall candidates for doctoral degrees, and 6 of them are able to join us today. Candidates for doctoral degrees, please rise. President Gaber, I have the honor to present candidates for the degrees of Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering and Doctor of Philosophy in Biomedical Engineering. The completion of a doctoral degree is a major accomplishment and reflects years of dedication and hard work. As Dean of the College of Graduate Studies, I offer my warmest congratulations. Please join me in recognizing these candidates.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority vested in me by the state of Ohio and the trustees of the University of Toledo, I do confer upon all of the qualified candidates for all doctoral degrees, including those in absentia, the degrees for which they have met the requirements. You are charged with the duties and responsibilities of that degree and granted the privileges and prerogatives appertaining thereto. The doctoral graduates may now move their tassels from the back left of their mortarboards to the front left side. Please join me in recognizing these doctoral degree recipients.
Thank you, President Gaber. I now invite the candidates for the doctoral degrees to come forward to receive the congratulations of President Gaber, trustees, Dean Naganathan, and myself. Associate Dean LeBlanc will assist me in presenting the diploma cases to the candidates. Dr. Mohammed Samir Hefsi, Associate Dean of Engineering Graduate Studies and Research Administration, will read the names of the doctoral candidates and their advisors.
Thank you, Dean Bryant Friedrich. Thank you. Yi Bu Lee will be hooded by Dr. Mansour Alam. Noor Famila Shea Mad will be hooded by Dr. Glenn Lipscomb. Ilham Babai will be hooded by Dr. Sarit Badouri. Mehran Salehi will be hooded by Dr. Dan Olson. Nima Mansouri will be hooded by Professor Diwan Hickson. Pauline Sigdel will be hooded by Dr. Liangbo Hu. Please join me in congratulating all of our doctoral candidates.
It is now my pleasure to present our master's degree candidates. Today there are 78 candidates for master's degrees. Will all candidates for master's degrees please rise? President Gaber, I'm pleased to present the candidates for the degrees of Master of Science in Bioengineering, Master of Science in Chemical Engineering, Master of Science in Civil Engineering, Master of Science in Electrical Engineering, Master of Science in Engineering, Master of Science in Industrial Engineering, and Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Please join me in recognizing these master's degree candidates. I am also honored to present the candidates for baccalaureate degrees in the College of Engineering. In a special ceremony earlier this semester, we recognized all of our students graduating with academic honors. Now I will recognize those students who will graduate summa cum laude. They are asked to rise and remain standing as their names are called. First is Luke Sterling Batty, Jennifer M. Collier, Tyler John Golias, Jacob R. Holcomb, Ryan Joseph Kramer, Austin Jacob Kuhn, Brooke Elizabeth Mason, David G. Meggs, Brandon I. Pound, Zachary Benjamin Ream, Sean Peter Reck, Clayton Getz Rice, Ashley N. Robbins, Alexa Daniel Spoody, Kyle C. Stryker, and Patrick Allen Winslow. Please join me in recognizing these students' outstanding accomplishments. Will all candidates for baccalaureate degrees from the College of Engineering please rise? All baccalaureate degree candidates. President Gaber, as Dean of the College of Engineering, I am pleased to present the candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Science in Bioengineering, Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering, Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering, Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and Engineering, Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and Engineering Technology, Bachelor of Science in Construction Engineering Technology, Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering, Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering Technology, Bachelor of Science in Environmental Engineering for the first time in our college, Bachelor of Science in Information Technology, and Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering and Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering Technology. Please join me in recognizing these baccalaureate degree candidates. President Gaber, these students have completed all requirements for master's and baccalaureate degrees respectively.
The faculty and the Board of Trustees join me in delivering these congratulations and in noting the insoluble link between you and the University of Toledo. We are linked forever. Our good fortune is your good fortune. Your success is our pride. Now, upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority vested in me by the state of Ohio and the trustees of the University of Toledo, I do confer upon all of the qualified candidates for baccalaureate and master's degrees, including those in absentia, the degrees for which they have met the requirements. You are charged with the duties and responsibilities of that degree and granted the privileges and prerogatives appertaining thereto. The master graduates may now move their tassels from the back right of their mortarboards to the back left of their mortarboards. All baccalaureate graduates may now move their tassels from the front right side of their mortarboards to the back right side of their mortarboards. Please join me in recognizing these graduates.
Hello? Yes, thank you. Thank you, President Gaber. At this time, I invite the college marshals to escort our degree candidates forward. When their names are called, each graduate should proceed across the stage in continuing order to receive the congratulations of Dean Naganathan and members of the platform party. We will begin the recognition with the master's candidates. Aaron Gorsak, Master's in General Engineering. Trushna Brambart, Master's in General Engineering. Mehran Najib, Master's in Mechanical Engineering. Rafiul Kahbir, Master's in Electrical Engineering. Nasim Nabiyuni, Master's in Industrial Engineering. Nilufar Ali Pura Siabi, Masters in Chemical Engineering. Massa Golami, Masters in Bioengineering. Yogendra Batil, Masters in Civil Engineering. Bishal Balagali, Masters in Civil Engineering. Taqiyuddin Shah, Master in Civil Engineering. Kishore Rowell, Master in Civil Engineering. Tashneem Shoduri, Masters in Electrical Engineering. Philip Ehizogei Eyambao, Masters in Electrical Engineering. Eid El Kaldi, Masters in Electrical Engineering. Janvi Elamanshili, Masters in Computer Science and Engineering. Manideep Yarlagada, Masters in Civil Engineering. Ravindra Nadigam, Masters in Mechanical Engineering. Akshay Shashi Sharan Kotian, Masters in Electrical Engineering. Bahram Raad, Masters in Mechanical Engineering. Please join me in congratulating all of our master's degree candidates. Dr. Nick Kisoff, Associate Professor and Assessment Director for Engineering Technology, and Dr. Scott Molitor, Associate Dean for Engineering Undergraduate Studies and Honors Director in the College of Engineering, will begin the recognition of our baccalaureate degree candidates.
Thank you, Dr. Hefsey. We will begin with the candidates for the Bachelor of Science in Bioengineering. Alexa Elder, co-opt at Perstorp Polyols. Unanya Indorti, co-opt with UT Plant Science Research Center and Pfizer. Pete Rocco, co-opt with Carlisle Fluid Technologies and the UT MIME Department. Please join me in congratulating all of the graduates from the bioengineering program. We will next recognize candidates for the Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering. Matthew Borton, co-opt with DTE Energy. Jose Calvillo, co-opt with Clemson University and Matrix Technologies. Alexis Baker, graduating magna cum laude. Alexis co-opt with Marathon Petroleum Company, LLC. Cameron Rogers, graduating cum laude. Cameron co-opt with America Makes and Stratasys. Ashley Robbins, graduating summa cum laude. Ashley co-opt with Lubrizol Corporation. Brittany Lancia, graduating summa cum laude. Brittany co-opt with Owens Corning. Isaiah Villa Chandler, graduating cum laude. Isaiah co-opt with ABB Incorporated and Air Products and Chemicals. Patrick Winslow, graduating summa cum laude. Patrick co-opt with BP. Laura Barr, graduating cum laude. Laura co-opt with Lafarge Holcim. Derek Schreider, graduating magna cum laude. Derek co-opt with INEOS Nitriles. Aaron Gable, graduating cum laude. Aaron co-opt with Omnova Solutions Incorporated and Owens Corning. Eric Mataszewski, graduating cum laude. Eric co-opt with Honda and Owens Corning. Corinne Wenslaff, Corinne co-opt with Imaging Systems Technologies and Perstorp Polyols. Leanne Slomka, Leanne co-opt with United Parcel Service. John Hoffman, graduating magna cum laude. John co-opt with Plastic Technologies Incorporated. Jacob Siebenek, graduating magna cum laude. Jacob co-opt with Omnova Solutions Incorporated. Kyle Zamora, Kyle co-opt with Columbia Gas of Ohio, Global Tungsten and Powders, and the UT Chemical Engineering Department. Corey Zalazak, graduating cum laude. Corey co-opt with Lubrizol Corporation. Thebe Al-Katani, Thebe co-opt with Al-Jubail Petrochemical Company. Mohand Al-Durham, Mohand co-opt with SABIC. Mohammed Alabad, Mohammed co-opt with the UT Chemical Engineering Department. Jacob Morava, Jacob co-opt with Plastic Technologies Incorporated and Thermatru Corporation. Zachary Metzinger, graduating cum laude. Zachary co-opt with Guardian Industries, INEOS Nitriles, Libby Incorporated, and Plastic Technologies Incorporated. Quinn Hodkinson, graduating cum laude. Quinn co-opt with Lincoln Electric Company and Toledo Refining. Kayla Nagel, Kayla co-opt with Libby Incorporated and the UT Chemical Engineering Department. Caitlin Landon, graduating magna cum laude. Caitlin co-opted with Air Products and Chemicals Incorporated and INEOS nitriles. Anthony Tomasi, graduating magna cum laude. Anthony co-opted with Owens Corning and Quasar Energy Group. Alexander Tainer. Alexander is graduating cum laude and co-opt with First Solar and Materion Brush. Darren Goodman, graduating magna cum laude. Darren co-opt with Air Products and Chemicals. Yishu Zhang. Yishu co-opt with Hunan Anbang Pharmaceutical Company. Alexandra DeRose. Alexandra co-opt with Chem Advisor Incorporated and Johnson Controls. Jeremy George, graduating magna cum laude. Jeremy co-opt with Canberra Corporation and DTE Energy. Nathan Hefner. Nathan co-opt with Campbell Soup Company and Husky Engineering. Husky Energy. Caleb Hiddleston. Caleb co-opt with Omni Fusion LLC and the UT Chemical Engineering Department. Robert Campati. Robert co-opt with Humanitex Innovative Solutions. Pop Ba. Pop co-opt with the Institut de Technologie Alimentaire and the UT Chemical Engineering Department. Aloysian Sakau. Co-ops at Air Products and Chemicals Incorporated and Wacker Chemical. Paxton Pickrell, graduating magna cum laude. Paxton co-opt at the Toledo Refining Company. Sean Reck, graduating summa cum laude. Sean co-opt at Campbell Soup Company, Cooper Tire and Rubber Company. Ryan Kramer, graduating summa cum laude. Ryan co-opt at the Hershey Company, Husky Energy, and Plastics Technology Incorporated. Clayton Rice, graduating summa cum laude. Clayton co-opt at the Lubrizol Corporation. Alexandra Spoody, graduating summa cum laude. Alexandra co-opt at Air Products and Chemicals Incorporated, Magna Norplast, and Marathon Petroleum Company, LLC. Please join me in congratulating all the graduates from the from the Chemical Engineering program.
It is now my pleasure to recognize candidates for a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering. Cody Gay. Cody did his co-ops with Buckeye Cable System, DGL Consulting, the Douglas Company, and Manick and Smith. Connor Hoffman, graduating cum laude. Connor did 4 co-ops with the Toledo Refining Company. Austin Kuhn, graduating summa cum laude. Austin did his co-ops with Marathon Petroleum LLC, 4 co-ops. Tanner Cavalage, graduating cum laude. Tanner did his co-ops with Choice One Engineering, E.S. Wagner, and Honda and Tuttle Construction Incorporated. Travis Mag, graduating cum laude. Travis did 4 co-ops with the Rudolph Libby Group. Seth Keller. Seth did his co-ops with Ferguson and E.S. Wagner. Joshua High, graduating magna cum laude. Joshua did 4 co-ops with the Rudolph Libby Group. Austin Bissoff. Austin, graduating cum laude, and did co-ops with Dakota Gasification and the Greater Cleveland Regional Transit Authority. Stephen Barish. Stephen did his co-ops with the Acme Construction Company and CSX Transportation. Joel Breininger, graduating cum laude. Joel did his co-ops with Rudolph Libby Group and Ullman Schulte Construction. Matthew Kautz, graduating magna cum laude. Matthew did his co-ops with Rudolph Libby Group and the SSOE Group. Connor Russell, graduating magna cum laude. Connor did his co-ops with First Energy Corp and Ullman Schulte Construction. Matthew Feldman, graduating cum laude. Matthew did his co-ops with Kokosing Construction and Kokosing Industrial. Dean Keffer, graduating cum laude. Dean did co-ops with Kiewit, Ohio Department of Transportation, and Ullman Schulte Construction. Jennifer Collier, graduating summa cum laude. Jennifer is also one of the first recipients of our Bachelor of Science in Environmental Engineering degree, as well as our Civil Engineering degree, and did her co-ops with Aquablock, Hull & Associates, and the UT Civil Engineering Department. Maya Pacharich. Maya did her co-ops with the UT Civil Engineering Department and the Ohio Department of Transportation. Adam Honhurst. Adam did his co-ops with the City of Perrysburg, the Douglas Company, and the Coleman Corporation. Nicole DeVille. Nicole did her co-ops with Kokosing Construction. Evan Wolf, graduating magna cum laude. Evan did his co-ops with Kokosing Construction and Ullman Schulte Construction. Nathan Decker, graduating summa cum laude. Nathan did his co-ops with Rudolph Libby Group and the Toledo Zoo. Tyrone Heinmiller III, graduating cum laude. Tyler did 4 co-ops with Duke Energy. Zachary Edelbrock, graduating cum laude. Zachary did his co-ops with Bullard Company and TTL Associates Incorporated. Thomas Strasko, graduating magna cum laude. Thomas did his co-ops with Jones and Henry and the Ohio Department of Transportation. Liz Florian, graduating magna cum laude. Liz did her co-ops with Kokosing Construction and Tuttle Construction Incorporated. Nicholas Podum, graduating magna cum laude. Nicholas did his co-ops with Danis Building Construction Company. John Kessling, graduating cum laude. John did his co-ops with the Douglas Company and the Ohio Department of Transportation. C.G. Ben. C.G. did his co-ops with the City of Toledo Department of Water Treatment, Hebai Institute of Architectural Design and Research Limited, and UT Civil Engineering Department. Danielle Supran, graduating cum laude. Daniel did his co-ops with City of Toledo, Division of Engineering Services, Ohio Department of Transportation, and the Rudolph Libby Group. And Stephen Meyer. Stephen did his co-ops with the Ohio Department of Transportation District 2 and the University of Toledo Geography and Planning Department. Please join me in a round of applause for our civil and environmental engineering graduates. Thank you. We would next like to recognize our candidates for a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and Engineering. We have Cassandra Kowalski. So Cassandra did her co-ops with Software Answers Incorporated and Progress Book. Devin Marie Seymour. Devin did her co-ops with Ridge Tool, a division of Emerson Electric, a total of 5 co-ops. Kyle Vergatini, graduating cum laude. Kyle did his co-ops with Ridge Tool, a division of Emerson Electric. Marcus Schmitz, graduating cum laude. Marcus also did his co-ops with Ridge Tool, a division of Emerson Electric. Michael Cook, graduating cum laude, also did his co-ops with Ridge Tool, a division of Emerson Electric. Emilio Borges Serra, graduating cum laude. Emilio did his co-ops with NASA, R.W. Beckett, and Rockwell Automation. Jordan Claymut, Jordan did his co-ops with Healthways Incorporated. Zachary Ream, graduating summa cum laude. Zachary did a total of 5 co-ops with Highland Software Incorporated. Dylan Hickman, graduating cum laude. Dylan did his co-ops with Diebold Incorporated and Honda. Dmitry Naborek, Dmitry did his co-ops with the Andersons Incorporated. Tyler Dorn, graduating magna cum laude. Tyler did his co-ops with Highland Software Incorporated and the Marathon Petroleum Company. Logan Greaser, Logan did his co-ops with LaserPoint and Service Spring. Tyler Golias, graduating summa cum laude, did his co-ops with Highland Software Incorporated. Zhengkun Ye, Zhengkun did his co-ops with the Stone Technology Incorporated and Wuhan University. Blake Berry, Blake did co-ops with Capital One and the University of Toledo College of Engineering, College Computing. Sawyer Fry, graduating magna cum laude. Sawyer did his co-ops with the University of Toledo Advanced Simulation and Gaming Studio and the University of Toledo One World Schoolhouse. Jacob Holcomb, graduating summa cum laude. Jacob did his co-ops with Plastic Technologies Incorporated. Matthew Gilmore, graduating cum laude. Matthew did his co-ops with Diebold Incorporated. Jan Jacob Pietrzakowski, graduating magna cum laude. John did his co-ops with Premier System Integrators. Jacob Schnipke, Jacob did his co-ops with BK Tool and Design and Cooper Tire and Rubber for a total of 5 co-ops. Jay Inkrot, graduating cum laude. Jay did a total of 4 co-ops with Cooper Tire and Rubber. Anthony Franco, graduating cum laude. Anthony did co-ops with ABB Incorporated, Lincoln Electric, and Magna Norplast. Jamel Ahmed, graduating cum laude. Jamel did co-ops with DTE Energy and FCA US LLC. Dylan Benedict, graduating cum laude. Dylan did a total of 4 co-ops with Honda. Garrett Blaha. Garrett did a total of 4 co-ops with First Energy Corporation. Brett Pavia. Brett did a total of 4 co-ops with Husky Energy. Michael Bodai, graduating magna cum laude. Michael did co-ops with Chase Brass and Copper, Owens, Illinois, and the SSOE Group. Glenn Kaneni. Glenn is graduating magna cum laude and did co-ops with Diebold, University of Toledo Electrical Engineering Department, and ZFTRW. Laura Mabula. Laura did her co-ops with R.W. Beckett Corporation. Stephanie Parrott. Stephanie Parrott. Stephanie is graduating magna cum laude and did her co-ops with Dana and NASA. James Weirstein. James did his co-ops with Bungie. Joshua Smith. Joshua did his co-ops with County Electric and Diebold Incorporated. Benjamin Holtz. Benjamin did his co-ops with DeweySoft LLC and Toledo Transducers Incorporated. Kyle Gable. Kyle did his co-ops with DTE Energy, Glass Tech, and SSOE Group. Brandon Tran. Brandon did his co-ops with DTE Energy and Dura Automotive Systems. Stephen Garby, graduating cum laude. Stephen did his 4 co-ops with Automatic Handling International. Devin Billiard. Devin did his co-ops with DTE Energy. Matthew McCormick, graduating cum laude. Matthew did co-ops with DTE Energy and Dana Incorporated. Kyle Lambie, graduating cum laude. Kyle did his co-ops with ABB Incorporated and Bendix Commercial Vehicle Systems. Kuhn Jung. Kuhn did his co-ops with Jingsu Kaitai Petroleum, Landy Energy Services, and the University of Toledo Engineering Technology Department. Abdullah Al-Rahili. Abdullah did his co-ops with Saline Water Conversion Corporation and Yanbu National Petrochemical Corporation. Abdullah Habis did his co-ops with Saudi Arabian Airlines and Saudi Telecom Company. Adam Kohler. Adam did his co-ops with Libby Incorporated, Magna Norplast, Surface Combustion, Virtual Technologies. Samantha Rellinger, cum laude, did 4 co-ops with Matrix Technologies. And Walid Abdul Salam, graduating magna cum laude, 4 co-ops with Marathon Petroleum Company. I neglected to transition. I was also recognizing graduates of the Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering as well as Computer Science and Engineering. So please join me in a round of applause and congratulating our Computer Science and Engineering and Electrical Engineering graduates.
We will now recognize the graduates from the Department of Engineering Technology. This department, the largest at the University of Toledo, has 5 baccalaureate degree programs: Computer Science and Engineering Technology, Construction Engineering Technology, Electrical Engineering Technology, Information Technology, and Mechanical Engineering Technology. The co-op program is optional in these 5 programs. A majority of these students in engineering technology have been employed full-time in their chosen field for a large part of their academic career. Many have come back to school to complete degrees while balancing schoolwork, their professional careers, and full-time family duties. As I recognize graduates, I will highlight positions held by those students that voluntarily participated in the co-op program. We will begin with candidates for the Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and Engineering Technology. Charles Hempstead. Dearis Jefferson. Taylor Hunt. Taylor co-opt at Magna Seating, ProMedica, and Whirlpool. Zachary Baltrip. Brian Fillion. Brian co-opt at the Ariel Corporation. Charles Miller III. Jonathan Snyder. Michael Donnellan. Please join me in congratulating all of the graduates from the Computer Science and Engineering Technology program. We will next recognize candidates for the Bachelor of Science in Construction Engineering Technology. Zach Klepik. Zach Co-opt at the Ohio Department of Transportation. Andrew Taylor. Andrew Co-opt at DGL Consulting Engineers. Nicholas Davis. Nick Co-opt at Black Swamp Steel. Jason Green, Co-opt at the Toledo Lucas County Port Authority. Fahid Awad. Daniel Clark, graduating cum laude. Please join me in congratulating all of the graduates from the Construction Engineering Technology program. We will next recognize candidates for the Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering Technology. Mitchell Voyance, graduating magna cum laude. Adam Glenn, graduating magna cum laude. Adam Co-opt at Magna Norplas. Justin Vorst, graduating cum laude. Justin Co-opt at Emerson and Grobe Systems Incorporated. Mohammed Al-Momen. Richard Turknowitz. Motaz Al-Maghrabi. Ahmed Al-Farid. Murtada Algam. Hussein Ali Yusuf. Logan Roberts. Andrew Zacharias, graduating cum laude. Andrew Co-opt at Surface Combustion. Jeffrey Williams. Corey Fusan, graduating cum laude. Abdullah Algain. Salman Aldafier. Raji Al-Subai. Walid Al-Hafiri. Nicholas Finzel, graduating with a dual degree in Electrical Engineering Technology and Mechanical Engineering Technology with co-ops at Luke USA and Parker Hannafin Corporation. Garrett Rowell, graduating with a dual degree, Computer Science and Engineering Technology and Electrical Engineering Technology. Mohammed Al-Janabi. Bader Al-Dayel. Please join me in congratulating all of the graduates from the Electrical Engineering Technology program. We will next recognize candidates for the Bachelor of Science in Information Technology. Alexander Cherney. Matthew Fay. Jacob Almanza. Eric Thomas. Mohammed Mane. John Shade. Please join me in congratulating all of the graduates from the Information Technology program. We will next recognize candidates for the Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering Technology. Abdulaziz Al-Khatani. Mohammed Al-Amri. Ali Al-Qurani. G. Ma, graduating cum laude. Matthew Meyer, graduating cum laude. Matthew co-opt at Perstorp Polyols. Thomas McNichol. Thomas co-opt at the Andersons Incorporated and Dana Corporation. Ali Akbar. Mesfer Aliami. Mohammed Al-Naim. Turkey Al-Hadri. Bilal Abdulaziz. Muhammad Al-Munami. Saeed Al-Dawood. Michal Al-Khalil. Faisal Al-Khatub. Muhammad Al-Ghalbi. Hassan Al-Khatub. Tariq Al-Ogifi. Asim Sheikh. Aaron English. Aaron co-opt at DTE Energy and the Dana Corporation. Bianca Brayman. Jay Gallagher. Jay co-opt at Dana Incorporated. Garrett Rose. Garrett co-opt at Midmark Corporation and Whirlpool Corporation. Eli Ring. Eli co-opt at DTE Energy, Matrix Technology Incorporated, and Metal Tech International. Matthew Schofield, graduating cum laude. Matthew co-opted at Vendors Exchange and the Whirlpool Corporation. Matthew Wise. Matthew co-opted 4 times at Husky Energy. Abbas Ismail. Jadarian Bowers. Muhammad Hilu. Tim Robinson. James Butcher. Ian McAllister. Joseph Velker. Jaffer Al-Kubaish. Sami Alonzi, graduating cum laude. Rakan Al-Shamri. Ahmed Alawad. Please join me in congratulating all of the graduates from the Mechanical Engineering Technology program.
Thank you, Dr. Kissoff. We will now recognize candidates for the Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Andrew Tracy. Andrew did co-ops with Owen, Illinois. Joshua Hoffman, graduating cum laude. Joshua did co-ops with Dana Corporation and Magna Team Systems. Jared Cook. Jared did co-ops with Cook Medical, JBT Food Tech, and Zimmer Biomet. Caleb Henry, graduating cum laude. Caleb did co-ops with the Toledo Refining Company. Erica Hosevar, graduating cum laude. Erica did co-ops with Delphi and Lincoln Electric. Nathan Shivak. Nathan did 4 co-ops with JBT Food Tech. Cody Simpson. Cody did co-ops with ASIN World and Plygem Windows. Ryan Garza, graduating magna cum laude. Ryan did co-ops with Crane Aerospace and Electronics. Keith Wasserman, graduating magna cum laude. Keith did co-ops with Crown Battery and General Electric for a total of 5 co-ops. Henry Murakami. Henry did co-ops with Lasco Engineering Services, LLC. Nicholas Fakade, graduating cum laude. Nicholas did co-ops with Whirlpool Corporation. Nicholas Foti. Nicholas did co-ops with Dana Corporation and Plygem Windows. Andrew Roll. Andrew did co-ops with the Therma-Tru Corporation. Alexander Kyle. Alexander did co-ops with Henry Filters and the Minmark Corporation. Ryan Singer. Ryan did co-ops with Biofit Engineered Products, Fram Filtration, and Gem Incorporated. Jeffrey Sievert. Jeffrey did co-ops with Cooper Tire and Rubber, Nidec Minister, and Therma-Tru. Rafay Gibran. Rafe did co-ops with Therma-Tru Corporation and Zimmer Biomet. Zachary Kinney, graduating magna cum laude. Zachary did co-ops with Alcoa, Materion Brush, and Swaglock companies. Tanner Orban, graduating cum laude. Tanner did co-ops with Fiat Chrysler, General Electric, and ZFTRW. Kyle Stryker, graduating summa cum laude. Kyle did co-ops with Marathon Petroleum, Whirlpool, and ZFTRW. Brandon Pound, graduating summa cum laude. Brandon did co-ops with Ariel Corporation and North Star Blue Scope Steel. Scott Tumulty, graduating cum laude. Scott did co-ops with Honda and Marathon Petroleum Company. Weston Lundquist. Weston did co-ops with GE Appliances and Plastic Technology Incorporated. Zachary Wantz. Zachary did co-ops with Metal Forming and Coining and Steris Corporation. Raylan Grupp, my apologies. Raylan did co-ops with First Energy Corporation and Slaughter Woodworking. Frank Austin, graduating cum laude. Frank did co-ops with the Dana Corporation. James Dunsmore. James did co-ops with Pilkington North America. Michael Henderson. Michael did co-ops with the Honda Corporation. Marcus Ushaker. Marcus did a total of 5 co-ops with Depute Synthes and Ethicon. Zachary Farley. Zachary did his co-ops with Hedstrom's Plastics. Trevor Heinze, graduating magna cum laude. Trevor did a total of 5 co-ops with Johns Mansville and the Toledo Refining Company. Michael Amos. Michael did co-ops with Enterprise Welding and Fabricating Incorporated. David Meggs, graduating summa cum laude. David did his co-ops with NASA. Quinn Wilder. Quinn did his co-ops with Motion Controls Robotics Incorporated. Edward Vanek Jr. Edward did his co-ops with the Adrian Steel Corporation. Joshua Trick. Joshua did his co-ops with Honda and Stylecrest Incorporated. Jacob Rohr. Jacob did co-ops with Depute Synthes and Tenneco Incorporated. Zachary Hoflick. Zachary did co-ops with MAN Technologies and Yaki Electric Service. Caleb Titus. Caleb did co-ops with Baker DC and PC Airfoils LLC. Bruce Tokar Jr. Bruce did his co-ops with North Star Blue Scope Steel. Jason Turnwald, graduating cum laude. Jason did co-ops with Federal Mogul Corporation and Univerth Manufacturing Incorporated. Brandon Lehman. Brandon did co-ops with the Eaton Corporation. Adam Schmink, graduating cum laude. Adam did co-ops with BK Tool and Design and Marathon Petroleum Company. Eric Tanner, graduating magna cum laude. Eric did co-ops with DTE Energy and Marathon Petroleum. Isaiah Creeman. Isaiah is graduating cum laude and did co-ops with Plastics Group Inc., the U.S. Army, and Whirlpool Corporation. Quinn Culbertson, graduating cum laude. Quinn did co-ops with the Ariel Corporation and the Federal Mogul Corporation. Jad Kitab. Jad did co-ops with XOL Automation and Zimmer Biomet. Celia Otero. Celia did her co-ops with rolled alloys. Chris Summers, graduating magna cum laude. Chris did his co-ops with DT Energy. Patrick Duchnowski. Patrick did his co-ops with Betchers Industries Incorporated. Angela Sattler. Angela did her co-ops with Plastic Technologies Incorporated. Richard Kyrbu. Richard is graduating cum laude and did his co-ops with the Cooper Tire and Rubber Company. Marwan Falata. Marwan did his co-ops with the Saudi Archeradan Limited. Olawole Ajiboshu graduated from mechanical engineering, did his co-ops from the First Energy Corporation. Stephanie Andrews, graduating cum laude. Stephanie did her co-ops with the Detroit Stoker Company and Freudenberg NOK. Molia Norden. Molia did her co-ops with Magna Norplast and Plastic Technology Incorporated. Emily Daigle. Emily did her co-ops with Sabac Solar and the Whirlpool Corporation. Timothy Walker. Timothy did his co-ops with the Therma-Tru Corporation and the University of Toledo Mechanical Engineering Department. Trevor Kucherik. Trevor did his co-ops with the Acme Construction Company and the Dana Corporation. Danielle Luffs. Danielle did her co-ops with Matrix Technologies Incorporated. Kelly Vopenheim. Kelly is graduating magna cum laude and did 4 co-ops with the Trelleborg Sealing Solutions Company. Anna Raymond. Anna is graduating magna cum laude, did co-ops with GE Appliances and Kaleidoscope. Molokai Neal. Molokai did co-ops with Air Products and Chemicals, Marathon Petroleum, and Dana. Aaron Kramer. Aaron did his co-ops with GKN Driveline. Austin Maddox. Austin did his co-ops with CertainTeed Corporation and JTech. Jean-Paul Labderdie. Jean-Paul did co-ops with Magna Team Systems and Revere Plastic Systems, LLC. Alex Gunkel. Alex is graduating magna cum laude and did co-ops with Magna Norplast and NSS Enterprises. Zachary Cotterman. Zachary is graduating cum laude and did co-ops with Oldcastle Precast and Plygem Windows. Michael Music. Michael did co-ops with Kiewit and Revere Plastic Systems. And Luke Batty, graduating summa cum laude. Luke did co-ops with Crane Aerospace and Electronics and Honda. Please join me in a round of applause for our mechanical engineering graduates. And please join me in a final round of applause for all of our engineering graduates this evening. It is now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Dave Dimitrica, who is a member of the boards of our UT Engineering Alumni Affiliate, as well as the University of Toledo Alumni Association. Mr. Dimitrica received his bachelor's degree in civil engineering in 1980 and a master's degree in 1983. Mr. Dimitrica will now welcome our graduates to the ranks of the alumni.
It is my privilege and pleasure to welcome our new alumni to the UT Alumni Association and the College of Engineering Alumni Affiliate. Congratulations on your achievements. We hope that all of you, no matter what field you enter, take up leadership roles of one sort or another. You owe it to yourselves and you owe it to the future. We have great faith in you, and we know you'll make us proud. Now, for the fun part. To help you remain connected to UT and other alums as well, we are giving all of today's graduates a complimentary membership to the UT Alumni Association. It is free for 5 years. We ask that you renew your membership when your complimentary membership expires. The Alumni Association can enrich your life with connections for many years to come. There are more than 18,000 UT College of Engineering alumni located throughout the world. Wherever you may go, there are alumni out there, and your Alumni Association can help you find them. Plus, the association will keep you connected to the University of Toledo. So as of right now, you belong. Welcome. Whenever you can, come to some of our alumni affiliate events. Come alone, bring friends and family, or just use the events as a reason to get together with some of your old friends. Details about all events are on the UT Alumni website. Finally, congratulations, class of 2016. You've worked very hard to get to this day. It is now my pleasure to introduce Professor Richard Springman, who will conduct the Order of the Engineer ceremony.
Thank you, David. It's my pleasure to conduct on behalf of link number 70 of the Order of the Engineer, the induction ceremony today. I'd like to pose 2 questions this evening. Number 1, how do we recognize an engineer? And secondly, what do engineers have in common? This question was posed by Professor Edward Haltane in 1922 at a meeting of the past presidents of the Engineering Institute of Canada in Montreal. While he left no notes about what motivated him to think of these questions, it seems certain that what was on his mind was something that had happened a few years previously. In Quebec, across the St. Lawrence River, a bridge was being built. Construction had begun in 1905. The bridge was designed by Theodore Cooper, a renowned bridge designer of the day. He was nearing the end of his career, and this bridge was to be the crowning achievement of a long and illustrious career. In this first design of the bridge, work had been going on for almost 2 years until on August 29th, 1907, it was just about quitting time near 5 o'clock. A loud crack was heard at the work site, and the center span of the bridge began to fall into the river. At the time it fell, there were 86 workers on the bridge. 75 of them lost their lives. The other 11 were injured. In retrospect, in looking at this accident, a number of things were discovered. One was that the design had changed from its initial conception. It had been lengthened from 1,600 to 1,800 feet, making it the longest cantilevered bridge in the world. This was done without any redesign of the bridge, and as such it increased the stresses to the point where the dead load was too large. In everyday words, that means the bridge weighed more than it could support itself, and it was doomed to failure. There were a number of indicators along the way that there were problems with the bridge, but they were ignored in favor of the construction schedule, trying to keep it on track and bring it in under budget. As our speaker today indicated early in her remarks, she said, "Good things don't just happen." And if we don't focus on the good things and keep them in sight, bad things will happen. And this is an example of one of those bad things that can happen if we become complacent and don't focus on our job. We think that this is what Professor Haltain had in mind when he spoke to his colleagues. And the culmination of their discussion was the formation of what was called in Canada the ritual of the calling of an engineer. From that meeting in 1922, Haltain asked Rudyard Kipling, who as a poet had written very favorably about engineers, and asked him if he would write the ritual for their induction ceremony. Kipling agreed, and he said, "The ritual of the calling of an engineer has been instituted with a simple end of directing the young engineer towards a consciousness of his profession and its significance, and indicating to the older engineer his responsibilities in receiving, welcoming, and supporting young engineers in their beginnings." The first ritual in Canada was held in 1925, and those inducted were given an iron ring as a symbol of the profession. Today, each of our graduates has received a packet in which you will find a certificate indicating your membership in the Order of the Engineer, and there's a pen in your certificate. I would invite you to sign your certificate, and you will also, in that packet, find a stainless steel ring which indicates your membership in the Order of the Engineer, and it's worn on the fifth finger of the working hand. The concept promoted by Edward Haltain in establishing the ritual of the calling of an engineer was taken up in the United States, but several years later. In 1966, engineers began to discuss a similar association for engineers to remind them of the primary focus of engineering, which is to serve the public and to put the safety of the public first. The first Order of the Engineer ceremony was held at Cleveland State University on June 4th, 1970, and 170 seniors and faculty in the Fenn College of Engineering were inducted. The second ceremony was held at the University of Akron in February of 1971. The purpose of the order is to foster a spirit of pride and responsibility in the engineering profession, to bridge the gap between training and practice, and to present the public with a visible symbol of identifying the engineer. Membership is open, among others, to seniors in engineering in colleges with curricula accredited by ABET. The order is symbolized by the acceptance of an obligation and the wearing of a stainless steel ring on the fifth finger of the working hand. There are no meetings or requirements other than the ring ceremony, such as we hold here today. The obligation is a composite of several creeds. It emphasizes the fact that we as engineers have certain obligations. It promotes honesty and integrity and recognizes that today's engineers are dependent on their predecessors to gain their skills. The personal integrity of a member and respect for the good opinion of his or her peers is the discipline expected of all members of the order. The Engineer's Ring Ceremony is the public induction of candidates into the Order of the Engineer, during which the candidates formally accept the obligation of an engineer and recognize two basic principles. They receive a stainless steel ring to be worn on the fifth finger of the working hand. The ring, a symbol of continuity and community, is worn for all to see and in effect says, "Here is an engineer possessed of a publicly avowed dedication to the profession and those it serves." I invite our graduates to stand, and in your program today, on page 27, you will find the oath, the obligation of an engineer. I would invite you to turn to that obligation and join me by reading that portion which is in bold lettering. I'll start. I am an engineer. In my profession, I take deep pride. To it, I owe solemn obligations. Since the Stone Age, human progress has been spurred by the engineering genius. Engineers have made usable nature's vast resources of material and energy for mankind's benefit. Engineers have vitalized and turned to practical use the principles of science and the means of technology. Join me. Were it not for this heritage of accumulated experience, my efforts would be feeble. As an engineer, I pledge to practice integrity and fair dealing, tolerance and respect, and to uphold devotion to the standards and the dignity of my profession. Conscious always that my skill carries with it the obligation to serve humanity by making the best use of Earth's precious wealth. As an engineer, in humility and with a need for divine guidance, I shall participate in none but honest enterprises. When needed, my skill and knowledge shall be given without reservation for the public good. In the performance of duty and in fidelity to my profession, I shall give the utmost. Congratulations, and welcome to the ranks of the practicing engineer. May your careers be long and productive, and may you wear your ring with pride in your chosen profession. You may be seated.
Thank you, Professor Springman. Congratulations, graduates. As you start this next phase of your life, please make sure you don't stop learning. Use what you have learned to benefit the places and people around you, and never stop learning. Knowledge is a very powerful thing. Please use yours to help others. I would like to take a moment now to recognize all of the important people here today that form the family support system. Without them, the attainment of a degree would be very difficult. So to those who contribute to that support system, let me say thank you. Parents, grandparents, spouses, partners, thank you for believing in your graduate. Sisters, brothers, children, grandchildren, without you, it would not have been possible. Friends, mentors, and loved ones, thank you for your encouragement. See, let's join and appreciate what all they have done for us. So join me in a round of applause. Thank you. Let me also take this opportunity to extend a special thanks to many of the College of Engineering staff members who worked so hard to make this commencement program a reality. So please join me in a round of applause for all of our staff members that made this ceremony possible. Now, let's celebrate with a final round of deafening applause for all of our graduates. As President Gaber mentioned, this is also a very special, bittersweet moment for me. I have had the privilege of leading the engineering convocations and commencements for the last 15 years. This would be my last engineering graduation ceremony at the University of Toledo as I transition out of my role as Dean of Engineering. So I want to personally thank our students, all of my faculty, staff, and administrative colleagues from the bottom of my heart for a very memorable journey at the University of Toledo. So thank you so much. As we conclude, I thank all of you for taking part in this very special occasion today. I now ask you to rise for the singing of Alma Mater, led by Lori Lefevre. The lyrics are on the back of your program. After the Alma Mater, those in academic regalia will remain standing for the recessional. All others are asked to take their seats after the Alma Mater and to remain seated until all the graduates have left the venue. Have a wonderful holiday season and a very happy New Year.
In tower shadows, voices now raising to